Every pristine ecosystem has an invisible acoustic footprint, a continuous hum of communication and movement echoing through the canopy. But those soundscapes are vanishing rapidly. Soundscape ecology pioneer Bernie Krause has recorded over 15,000 species throughout his career, and he estimates that over half of those original recordings now represent dead or heavily altered environments. This loss points to a strange paradox, often called the Great Silence. Humans spend immense resources staring into space, desperate to find the signal of an extraterrestrial intelligence. To make that connection, we constructed massive, highly sensitive ears, like the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico, specifically designed to capture a message crossing the universe. Yet, in the rainforests surrounding Arecibo and in the oceans worldwide, highly complex vocal learners like Puerto Rican parrots and deep-sea whales are communicating right now and dying out. We are getting very good at recording these environments, but we have to ask, does capturing an ecosystem's audio actually prevent its destruction, or are we simply building a high-definition archive of extinction? It is tempting to romanticize soundscape ecology as simply placing a microphone in a forest to listen to the soothing sounds of nature. The reality is strictly pragmatic. This is a hard data-gathering discipline designed to force community planning and shift international policy, not to produce ambient albums. This comparison table maps out the two distinct goals of acoustic data. On the left, the Extinction Archive focuses on preserving memory. On the right, Active Conservation focuses entirely on habitat protection. When you look at the outputs, the difference is stark. The archival approach yields audio files and spectrograms. Active conservation translates that data into tangible zoning changes and restricted shipping lanes. Conservation resource managers operate on severely limited budgets. They have to ruthlessly weigh whether investing in expensive acoustic technology and software provides a better return on investment than deploying traditional human field surveys. Recording an ecosystem is a passive act. Without a clear mechanism to turn that raw audio into actionable policy, the habitat itself remains completely unprotected. The foundational strategy for gathering this intelligence is passive acoustic monitoring, or PAM. This requires physically deploying automated, solar-powered audio recorders deep into remote terrain or flooded zones where humans cannot easily stay. Because there are no human observers present to scare off the wildlife, the primary outcome is a continuous 24/7 stream of pure ecosystem data. This flowchart illustrates the data pipeline, starting here with Stage 1, passive monitoring. You can see how easily the initial capture happens, pulling uninterrupted audio from the environment straight into storage drags. But this constant uptime generates overwhelming volumes of raw audio, impossible to listen through in real time. That brings us to Stage 2, the data translation bottleneck. Raw audio must be processed by complex software into color-coded spectrograms that reveal measurable biodiversity metrics. Automated monitoring is highly effective at capturing the biological baseline, but the sheer math becomes paralyzing if a conservation team lacks the budget for advanced analysis tools. The second major application involves turning these microphones toward human activity, specifically regulating anthropophony, or man-made noise pollution. The input here requires identifying commercial noise and measuring its disruptive impact against a natural, quiet ocean baseline. A primary target for regulators is international shipping. Thousands of commercial ships traverse the seas daily, generating an intense mechanical drone from engines and propellers. They also track petrochemical exploration, where seismic air guns create continuous acoustic explosions to map oil and gas deposits beneath the seafloor. To prove the damage, scientists utilized unique events, like the sudden drop in global shipping during the COVID-19 pandemic, to mathematically demonstrate exactly how this noise drowns out the frequencies marine mammals use to hunt and communicate. Looking back at our flowchart, we hit the final stage, anthropogenic regulation. This is where the strategy hits a severe real-world blockade, as data meets entrenched commercial interests. Possessing undeniable scientific proof does not automatically move international shipping lanes. Translating that audio into protection requires aggressive, sustained lobbying against well-funded commercial and military sectors. The final strategy brings the focus back to the people living inside high biodiversity areas through community-led land management. This involves using localized audio networks to track the immediate daily impacts of activities like subsistence farming and illegal logging by monitoring shifts in local insect and bird calls. The goal is to give indigenous and local landowners real-time readings on their ecosystem's health, empowering them to create and adjust their own localized management plans. But there is a glaring trade-off. Acoustic data cannot put food on the table for people who rely on felling trees for their basic income. Successful conservation requires external intervention that goes far beyond microphones. It means providing clean water, healthcare access, and alternative economic opportunities to the communities working the land. Gathering environmental audio is effectively useless in a vacuum. It only preserves a forest when it is paired directly with socioeconomic support for the marginalized populations living there. Soundscape ecology is an incredibly precise diagnostic tool, but the microphone is only an early warning system. Human policy is the intervention. To map the right strategy, this evaluation matrix organizes approaches by scale of action. For planners, hyperlocal data provides immediate returns. For advocates, international policy requires fighting intense industry lobbying. Finally, scientific archival creates the biological baseline necessary for future rewilding. We have built the tools to hear exactly what is happening to the natural world, but having the metrics is not the same as saving the ecosystem. It is ultimately up to us to answer the signal before it joins the great silence.